Welcome back to the Shigeaki Podcast, where modern science meets the timeless wisdom of longevity. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, and with me as always is my brilliant co-host, Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara. Together we explore what truly works for your health after 60, without the hype, the noise, or the fads. Now let's start with something familiar, turmeric. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Turmeric reduces inflammation. It's in teas, capsules, golden lattes, and even energy bars. But here's the honest question. Have you personally felt any real difference? See, the truth is, while turmeric can work, it doesn't work for everyone. Not because turmeric is bad, but because it's poorly absorbed unless you combine it with the right compounds like piperine from black pepper and take it consistently for weeks.
And even then, some bodies simply don't respond. That's why today we're not talking about turmeric. We're going to introduce you to a different kind of anti-inflammatory food, one that works faster, one that you probably haven't heard being recommended for inflammation, yet science says it should be at the top of the list. This food doesn't need fancy formulations. It doesn't require black pepper to activate. It's gentle, powerful, and deeply nourishing, especially for older adults dealing with chronic inflammation in the joints, gut, or brain.
That's right. In today's episode, we're going to reveal this hidden anti-inflammatory hero backed by research and show you exactly how to use it to calm your system, reduce pain, and reclaim your vitality after 60. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about adding turmeric to everything. It's about choosing what truly works. And if you like this episode, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been taking turmeric every day but still struggling with joint pain, inflammation, or brain fog. This might be the insight they've been waiting for.
Most people think inflammation is just what happens when you twist an ankle or get a sore throat. But the real danger isn't that kind of inflammation. It's the silent chronic kind that burns beneath the surface. And this hidden fire is the root cause of almost every major disease we fear as we age: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis, and even cancer. Chronic inflammation isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It whispers until one day it erupts into something big. What makes it tricky is that many people are inflamed and don't even realize it. They think they're just tired, or that their joints hurt because they're getting older. But inflammation is often the missing link.
Let's talk about some of the body's warning signs, the clues that something's off, even if your lab tests are still normal. First, if you wake up feeling exhausted even after a full night's sleep, that's not normal. Inflammation can interfere with your mitochondria, which are the energy factories inside your cells. When they're under attack, you feel like you're running on empty. And then there's joint stiffness in the morning, that achy feeling in your hands, knees, or back when you get out of bed. It's not just aging. Inflammation tends to settle into joints overnight, especially if your body isn't clearing it efficiently.
Brain fog is another big one. If you can't remember where you put your keys, or you feel like your mind is wrapped in cotton, inflammation may be affecting your brain, especially the hippocampus, which is critical for memory. And let's not forget stubborn belly fat. Many people don't realize that fat, especially visceral fat, around the belly is an inflammatory organ. It actually produces its own inflammatory chemicals which keep the fire going. The more belly fat you have, the more inflamed you are. It becomes a vicious cycle. Even bleeding gums can be a clue. Gum disease isn't just about dental hygiene. It's strongly linked to heart disease, because the inflammation in your mouth can spread through the bloodstream and damage your arteries.
That's why we say chronic inflammation is not something you feel immediately, but it's always doing damage. And unless you calm that fire, it will continue to age you from the inside out. The good news is, you can fight it, not just with medications, but with food. And in the next section, we'll reveal one surprising food that research shows can reduce inflammation even faster than turmeric.
As we used to say, when people talk about fighting inflammation, they usually turn to turmeric first. And yes, turmeric has its place, but after decades in clinical practice, I've seen something else work faster, especially in older patients with joint pain, brain fog, or high CRP blood levels. That food, sardines. Just 3 servings a week, and I've watched patients lower their inflammation markers significantly, sometimes in under 30 days. No pills, no complicated protocols, just this tiny fish that packs an enormous punch.
That's right, Shigeaki. Sardines are one of nature's most complete anti-inflammatory packages, and yet they're underestimated. What makes them so effective isn't just one nutrient. It's a whole orchestra of healing compounds working together. First, we have the famous omega-3 fatty acids, our EPA and DHA. These two have been studied for decades. They directly reduce CRP, which is C-reactive protein, a key marker of systemic inflammation. But sardines don't stop there. They're also rich in coenzyme Q10, which supports mitochondrial health and protects cell membranes from oxidative stress. As we age, our natural CoQ10 levels drop, which makes us more vulnerable to inflammation-related diseases. Just a few servings of sardines can replenish this critical molecule. Then there's vitamin D, which supports immune modulation, and vitamin K2, which directs calcium away from arteries and toward the bones, reducing vascular inflammation. It's a combination that's hard to beat.
Let's talk studies. A 2018 trial from Spain looked at adults who ate sardines just 2 to 3 times per week over 4 weeks. The results: their CRP levels dropped significantly. But not just CRP, they also saw reductions in IL-6 and TNF-alpha-2 of the most potent inflammatory cytokines in the body. These are the same molecules elevated in everything from arthritis to dementia. Sardines calmed them down quickly. Another study compared the anti-inflammatory effects of sardines to turmeric. Turmeric requires high doses plus piperine black pepper extract to increase absorption. Sardines, on the other hand, acted directly without needing any bioavailability tricks. And unlike turmeric, which is fat-soluble and can irritate the stomach lining in sensitive individuals, sardines are naturally digested and utilized with little to no side effects.
Let's break it down. How do sardines actually lower inflammation? First, they decrease cytokine production. Omega-3s tell your immune cells to stop sending out alarm signals. That's the root of inflammation, your immune system reacting too strongly too often. Second, sardines stabilize immune cell membranes. Think of your immune system like a team of firefighters. When their cell walls are healthy and stable, they don't panic and flood the area with water. They respond calmly. Sardines give them that stability. Third, sardines provide high-quality lipids, not the harmful omega-6 fats that fuel inflammation, but clean restorative fats that help repair tissues. They're like construction workers, showing up after a fire to rebuild what was damaged.
And one more thing I love about sardines: they're low on the food chain. That means they carry far less mercury and toxins than bigger fish, like tuna or swordfish. So you're getting all the benefits of fatty fish without the downside of heavy metal exposure. Plus, they're cheap, easy to store, and available canned in nearly every grocery store. This isn't some exotic superfood. It's a humble pantry item that's backed by research and results.
And for people over 60, sardines offer something extra. They support brain health, joint flexibility, and even vision thanks to their DHA content. One serving gives you more than 50% of your daily omega-3 needs, and it's far more absorbable than what you'll get in a typical supplement. I've had patients with autoimmune issues who tried everything: supplements, medications, even turmeric regimens. And while those helped somewhat, it wasn't until they added sardines 3 to 4 times a week that they felt a real shift: less swelling, better energy, and better sleep. When your inflammation goes down, everything else starts working better.
Exactly. We often chase complex solutions and forget that nature already gave us the tools. Sardines are proof that simple, nutrient-dense foods can outperform even the most hyped supplements if we use them correctly and consistently.
So, now you know what the one anti-inflammatory food is and why it works so well. But how do you use it in a way that's sustainable, delicious, and safe? In the next section, we'll show you how to turn sardines into your weekly habit, even if you're not a fan of fishy flavors.
So now that we know sardines are one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory foods out there, let's talk about something just as important: how to use them the right way. You don't need to eat sardines every day. In fact, eating them just 2 to 3 times per week, about 100 to 150 grams per serving, which is one small can, is more than enough to see results.
That's right. I often remind my patients that the magic isn't in the quantity, it's in the consistency and preparation. Sardines are incredibly nutrient-dense, but if you cook them the wrong way or pair them with unhealthy ingredients, you're going to lose a lot of that power. So, let's talk preparation. One of the best ways to enjoy sardines is steamed, grilled, or tossed into a salad. These methods preserve the omega-3's CoQ10 and fat-soluble vitamins like D and K2. What you want to avoid is deep frying because it oxidizes the healthy fats and also adding too much salt or heavy sauces, which can promote water retention and inflammation. And if you're buying canned sardines, look for options packed in water or extra virgin olive oil, not soybean oil, not sunflower oil, and definitely not mystery vegetable oil. Also, a little pro tip, give them a quick rinse under cool water before eating if you're sensitive to sodium. It helps reduce the salt without washing away the nutrients.
Now let's talk about when to eat them. For most people, the best time is around lunch or early dinner. Why? Because that's when your body can use those nutrients for repair and recovery, especially if you've done any walking, stretching, or light exercise. Sardines are rich in protein and fat, which also makes them great for blood sugar stability. You'll stay full longer and have fewer energy crashes later in the day. I'd also add that eating sardines in the evening, but not too late, can actually help your body rebuild tissues while you sleep. Omega-3s play a role in cellular repair, and having a small serving of sardines at dinner can support joint health, cognitive recovery, and even heart rate regulation during sleep. Now, what if you just can't stand the taste of sardines?
Then you've still got options. For people who don't eat fish or have access to good quality sardines, I recommend a high-quality fish oil supplement. Look for ones with IFOA certification, that's the International Fish Oil Standards, to ensure purity, potency, and no contaminants. You want a supplement that gives you both EPA and DHA, ideally around 1,000 mg combined per day. And for plant-based alternatives, try combining chia seeds, ground flax seeds, and a bit of seaweed into your weekly routine. While these don't contain DHA or EPA directly, your body can convert some of the alpha-linolenic acid ALA from flax and chia into usable anti-inflammatory fats, just not as efficiently. Still, it's a solid backup if fish is off the table.
Just remember, you're not looking for a magic bullet. Sardines are powerful because they're a full-package protein, omega-3s, minerals, fat, soluble vitamins, all in a highly absorbable form. Eat them smart, eat them regularly, and let your body do the rest.
Exactly, Shigeaki. Think of it this way. Sardines are powerful, but they're not magical. They need the right environment to work. So, if you're still regularly consuming inflammatory foods like deep-fried items, canola, oil, sugary sauces, or processed meats, you won't see the full benefit. Sardines work best in a clean system, not a clogged one. Now, let's talk about potential sensitivity or risks. Not everyone can tolerate sardines, especially those with certain health conditions. For example, people with gout or a high uric acid level need to be cautious. Sardines contain purines, which the body can convert into uric acid. For most healthy individuals, this isn't a problem, but if you've had a gout flare-up or kidney stones linked to uric acid, it's best to consult your doctor first, or try small amounts and monitor your response.
Yes, and I also want to touch on allergies. Sardines are fish. So if you've ever reacted to anchovies, mackerel, or tuna, be careful. Allergies can sometimes overlap. Also, be mindful of how your body reacts. Things like skin itching, nasal congestion, or digestive discomfort after eating sardines could be a signal. Now, another big issue is the quality of the sardines themselves. Not all sardines are created equal. If you're buying canned sardines, flip the label and check what they're packed in. Many cheaper brands use soybean oil, sunflower oil, or other refined seed oils, and these can completely counteract the benefits of the fish. What we recommend instead is to choose sardines packed in extra virgin olive oil or in spring water. These are much cleaner and support the anti-inflammatory effect, rather than fighting against it.
One more note: sustainability and toxin exposure. Sardines are actually one of the safest fish when it comes to mercury and heavy metals. They're small, low on the food chain, and reproduce quickly, which makes them both clean and environmentally friendly. However, quality still matters. Look for sardines that are wild caught, and preferably from clean cold waters like those from the Pacific or Mediterranean. Avoid those with vague sourcing or added preservatives.
Now let's address something important. What if you don't like fish? Or you're plant-based and sardines just aren't part of your diet? Don't worry, you've got options. The key anti-inflammatory fats in sardines are EPA and DHA, two long-chain omega-3s. While it's hard to get these from plants directly, you can get a pretty close match with IFOS-certified fish oil supplements, which ensure purity and potency. Or if you're strictly plant-based, aim to increase your intake of ALA. That's alpha-linolenic acid from flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, and seaweed-based omega-3 supplements. While ALA isn't as potent as EPA-DHA, your body can convert a small portion of it to those active forms. And remember, it's not just about the sardines, it's about the bigger picture. Think of sardines as part of a symphony. They work best when the rest of your lifestyle is aligned with anti-inflammatory principles, whole foods, plenty of leafy greens, healthy fats, clean water, and daily movement. A sardine alone won't undo a diet filled with sugary drinks and fried snacks.
That's such an important reminder. And lastly, don't forget to listen to your own body. Some people feel amazing with just 2 servings a week. Others may need more or less. The real goal is not perfection, it's consistency and awareness. Tune in to your energy levels, your digestion, your joint pain, and even your mood. These are the signals that tell you whether your anti-inflammatory strategy is working. So, choose wisely, eat intentionally, and let food be your quiet, consistent medicine.
To wrap up, turmeric is great. I love it. But we've said it many times on this podcast, food only becomes medicine when it's used consistently, not once in a while. And when it comes to inflammation, there's one food that works faster, more predictably, and with better long-term results than any trendy supplement. Sardines, or their plant-based alternatives, are not just fish in a can, they're nature's anti-inflammatory powerhouse. They help cool inflammation at the cellular level, feed your brain and joints, and even support your cardiovascular system. And the beauty is they work quietly day after day, without needing fancy packaging or hype.
Yes, you don't have to fight fire with fire. Sometimes the flame calms down simply when you give the body the right oil. Sardines are rich in the exact type of omega-3s our immune system uses to turn off chronic inflammation. I always tell my patients, don't depend on pills. Instead, think of food like sunlight and water for a garden. If you nourish your body the right way every week, your inner environment shifts toward healing, naturally, slowly, and deeply. And for those of you listening who might feel skeptical, just try it. 2 to 3 servings per week. That's it. You're not giving up anything, you're just adding something powerful. And within 30 days, you may notice your joints don't ache as much, your brain feels sharper, and even your sleep improves. Why? Because inflammation is connected to everything.
So here's what we want you to do. Try adding sardines or a clean omega-3 rich food 2 to 3 times a week. Pay attention to how your body feels. Is your joint stiffness improving? Is your brain fog lifting? Are your mornings easier? And don't forget to subscribe, and share this episode with someone who's struggling with chronic pain or inflammation. And be sure to tune in next time, because we'll be diving into a new episode. See you then, and keep healing one real food at a time.